Welcome. This is Dr. Nancy Sutton Pierce, and
Karen Lee Potter here, checking in.
yes, and we are streaming live, hopefully on YouTube and on Facebook, our Not Dead Yet live show. The last 2 weeks, we've had guests that we got to interview, and those shows are up on our YouTube channel, which is Not Dead Yet live show at YouTube. And we're really interested in getting more people to come in, but Karen and I are going to have some of the shows where we get to have a topic and invite you to the chat to join us for the topic. So today's topic is, what is it, Karen?
Fears. Facing
Fears.
your fears.
What scares you? What blows your skirt up and but scares you to death?
Blows your skirt up.
I just read a great quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, and it just says, "Do one thing every day that scares you."
I remember that quote. I love that quote.
Yeah.
Do
And
one thing every day that scares you. I think I lived by that. Do you?
a lot scares me. So, yeah, I think so.
Well, interestingly enough, I got a list of the top 10, the top 10 fears in life. In life. So I wonder if you can guess some of these. I don't
Okay.
know if these are in order of like, I actually I did not know this. I thought the number one fear for everyone was speaking in public.
You thought it was, and it's not?
Nope. Although that's number 8 or something, but I thought it was number one.
Oh, yeah.
What,
Well,
what,
social media has probably changed that for people, don't you think?
yeah, yeah, maybe maybe, are you saying that's a good thing?
I think so. Yeah, I think there's a few things that social media has done that has helped people. And I think being able to go live and learn how to speak to the public, even though can't see your audience. There's a little difference when you're standing on a stage with a microphone in your hand.
Yeah, yeah. So are you frightened of doing that?
I am not so much anymore. I'm standing on a stage with a mic does intimidate me still. I've done that, but it's easier for me to be in a more intimate setting or just to speak on a radio. I mean, I did radio for 10 years, so
Yeah. Does that come natural to you?
it didn't. The first time I did it, a friend of mine had a radio show in the mornings, and she invited me to come on once a month to do a health section. And the first time I did, oh my God, my voice was shaking so bad. My
Um,
hands were sweating. I was so nervous. And but after I started talking and we just started having conversation, I got into it. And at the end, I was high as a kite. I was so high.
really got that dopamine rush going.
Oh man, did I? Yes. And then I wanted to do more.
Yeah. And so did you, of course you did more.
I did more. Yeah. I did that for a while. And then she and her husband actually bought a radio station. And so they called me first and said, "You get to start your own radio show. What do you want to do?" So I started my own radio show called The Conscious Living Show every
Right.
Saturday at 11 a.m. and did that for 10 years.
Can we find that somewhere?
It's on iTunes.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys check that out if you haven't already.
Yeah. Yeah. The Conscious Living Show. I probably shouldn't have called it conscious because nobody knows how to spell conscious, but
Oh, that's true too.
I wasn't
So
conscious when I made the name.
uh, I've done some live appearances with my podcast. And I think if I'm with someone else, I don't have that same fear as if I was standing up there by myself.
Yeah.
I remember for my daughter's, it was my son's bar mitzvah, and I was going to sing a song with my daughter. And we got up there to sing this song, and I had practiced it earlier. And I opened my mouth to sing, and nothing came out. It was like, ah,
Oh my God.
I was panic stricken. But luckily, so she, who has no fear of singing in public, grabs my hand, and the two of us sang beautifully together. So all it takes is someone to hold your hand.
That does make it easier, doesn't it? Yeah.
So for those of you watching on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this, let us know what your fears are.
So let's see, we don't have anybody in the chat yet. So got to get over here and check and see what's going on. Don't see anything. Okay, so we're on YouTube and Facebook. We'd love to chat with you.
And what are your greatest fears?
Okay.
Maybe a fear
Oh,
that you
Mrs. Elv is here.
Hi, Mrs. Elf.
So click on there should be a chat button. Did you see the chat button?
Yes.
So click on that and you
Oh,
should,
wow. I see
there we,
meeting group chat. I don't see anything yet.
you don't see Mrs. Elf's chat there?
No,
Do you
no.
see our little videos in there?
I see my face in your face. Yes.
Okay. So the chat should be to the right of that. You see her?
Yeah, there's nothing there.
Hmm,
Hmm.
okay, that's strange.
Well, we're learning every time.
Yeah,
You can see it, but I can't.
I can, yeah. Don't know why. So that's another question for perplexity at another time.
Yes, perplexity. So okay. So first of all, I'm interested to hear what someone has a fear of and how they overcame it.
Yes. Well, I can tell you what happened to me is I when I started working with my now husband, and we were doing an outpatient diabetes center. And so he wanted me to go and do a lecture on diabetes at an urgent care clinic. And so I created a slideshow, like we had little slides, right? So I put together a slideshow and I was scared to death. My mom was there, so that was one of the only things my mom ever got to see me do working, is right before she died.
Oh,
And but I did it in the dark so that I could show the slideshow.
oh my God.
So that helped.
It helped being in the dark. Wow.
Yes.
I could see that. I remember someone told me, just imagine that everyone in the audience is in their underwear.
That helps too. So
It worked.
Mrs. Elf says, I have conceived two mottos that guide me in my life. One, two things I fear, living and dying. That doesn't mean I won't live, nor that I won't die. And two, I have to risk my life in order to live it. Hmm.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
That's heavy duty there.
Yep. That's
I saw,
powerful.
yeah, I mean, I just saw this person who was on I think it was Instagram. She said she did this crazy hike up this mountain and did all
Mm.
these things that she was terrified to do and ate things she didn't want to eat, but she said it was the best thing she could have ever done.
I think it does make you it is an endorphin rush because you're stepping out there and doing things something different. And when we face our fears, I think it's some massive growth, right? We grow really fast and we understand life better and we become I think I became much more adventurous the more I pushed my boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
Mm.
Well, I remember I had a big fear of flying. Like I
Mm.
was like at a point where every time I got on a plane, I'd be like, I need a drink, I need Valium, I need something because I was like so scared.
Oh.
And someone said to me, like a flight attendant said to me, have you ever thought about that you're not scared to be on a boat, are you? And I go, no, not actually.
Mm.
And she's like, well, it's sort of like the turbulence on an airplane is sort of like being on a boat, a ship with the waves going back and forth. That's kind of how the air is. And also, I just said to myself, I don't want to be living my life in fear of traveling. I mean, I don't want to have to travel by train. So I
Right.
just said, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be scared of flying anymore. I just put my foot down and I said, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. You're more likely to die in a car crash any day of the week over an airplane. So, I mean, even though we did have some scares this year,
Well, but they say whoever they is, they say that driving's a lot riskier than flying. So
that's what I'm saying.
yeah, yeah, it's just, but I think when you're up there, you don't have any control, right?
Well,
You
yeah,
pull over.
yeah,
So that doing that first talk for me didn't solve the problem. I was still, you just say camera or public speaking, and my palms would start to sweat. And so Mark, of course, then called the news and wanted to tell them that we were starting a new outpatient diabetes center. And so they came over to the office to interview me. And back in those days, they had massive cameras, this
oh
big
wow.
lens like
Yeah, I know what
right
you're talking
in
about.
my face. And I just panicked and went, "Oh shit." And I'm like, "Oh my God, can you edit that?"
Really freaked you out.
It was bad. It was bad. I couldn't even watch the interview. It was so bad. And then I started teaching group classes in the diabetes center. I would, because I found myself teaching a lot of the same things repeatedly. So I thought I need to put people in groups. And so we created a diabetes tool book that it was an 8-week course that had chapters, and it was just a toolkit for people to how to manage their diabetes. So I started teaching classes, and the classes got bigger and bigger, and so I got more comfortable, standing in front of a group and teaching a class. That helped me over that hump. And then one of the drug companies wanted me to do um, uh, teaching for the physicians all through the state on diabetes. And so we would go to these physician dinners where they'd have a speaker, and that would be
And
me.
were you scared then?
Yes, very, because here I am, a lowly little nurse, right? And I'm teaching doctors about diabetes.
Sure.
They were fine. One time I was at Travis Air Force Base, and one of the men brought his wife, and she
Why?
had brought his wife, and she got so drunk and she was heckling me.
Oh, that's rude.
It
All
was
you needed.
yeah. Oh, we have Darius Johnson. Hi, how are you? Good.
There, Darius.
No, we're not talking about my vacations.
Oh. So
So
the
today we're
my
talking about fears. I guess I
yeah,
could I could include some of those fears from
yeah.
going to Jamaica.
For whatever reason, my writing is backwards. So it's not dead yet live show is backwards.
On where?
And right now,
Well, I'm seeing it normal.
oh, I'm seeing it backwards.
Are
Maybe
you
that's
seeing
why I looked.
mine? Are you seeing mine normal or backwards?
Yep, yours is normal, mine's not normal. Well, then again, that's pretty common for me.
You're doing good.
So the top 10 fears and commonly include a mix of this existential, social, and practical concerns. What do you think they put as the number one fear?
Hmm. Spiders.
Nope, it's fear of failure.
Oh, yeah. Does rejection fit into that? The failure too?
Number two is fear of rejection or being judged.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, they're kind of in the same boat.
I think the number one reason for people lying is fear of
Fear,
rejection the and judgment.
right? And they don't want to get in trouble.
That too. Yeah.
Like when my brother decided to spray paint, he was like 7 or 8 years old. He sprayed painted his name in the garage, Robbie. And he said, it wasn't me. I didn't do that. Okay. I guess he was a little scared.
Yeah. So Darius has a question. He says, "My fear of having a husband leave her wife." That's not making sense because a husband leave having a husband leave a wife because she falls in love with him. Okay. Um, all right.
So
So
obviously he's not taking this conversation seriously.
no, no.
What
Mark
about
Pierce. Yeah.
okay, moving right along.
Okay.
Fear of loneliness.
Oh, I think a lot of people stay in toxic relationships because they have that fear of loneliness, right?
They should just get a dog.
Yeah,
And you'll never be lonely again.
that would be better.
Um, but I think it's also not just loneliness with another partner, but loneliness in life in general. Feeling like you are different than everyone, or that you, for some reason, don't have people surrounding you that support you. So maybe you have a fear of being in that situation where you're by yourself.
And that takes me to the fear of doing things alone. Of going to dinner alone or going to a movie alone. I think a
Have you ever
lot.
done that?
I have later in my life, but not for I mean, my granddaughter Avery that everybody met last week. She's one of the bravest people I know.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
she's taken herself on, she's before she was 20, she'd take herself on a weekend retreat someplace and rent a Airbnb and just little, in a little town and enjoy the town, take herself to dinner. She took herself to a baseball game at the Dodgers baseball game last weekend.
I think that's more that generation than it is our generation.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember the first time I went to New York for a conference, and I didn't know, I wanted to go see a play. So I decided before the play that I bought a ticket for in New York, I would go to have a drink at the bar of this hotel that was next door to it. And I started meeting all these people at the bar. And I got so drunk that I missed the whole show that I was supposed to see. But I was like, I was proud of myself because I went there by myself, had a drink, started talking, and next thing you know, I'm one of the gang.
I think people who travel alone too learn to really like it because they can go at their own pace, do what they want. They're not trying to collaborate with anybody. You know,
Right. Have you ever gone to a movie by yourself or gone to um,
I've
dinner by yourself?
I've gone to a Broadway musical by myself. Several. Went to a television show taping, went to see the Dalai Lama um, by myself. Yeah,
You went to see the Dalai Lama where?
in New York,
Oh, okay. I thought you went to like India or
Tibet.
Tibet. Yeah. So yeah, I think that
Yeah.
people these days tend to have no problem and don't feel like there's something wrong if they go out and do traveling and everything on their own.
I'm trying to think back when I was in my single years. I still probably did everything with a group of people. I had a group of
One other
friends.
person.
We would do stuff together. It wasn't, you know, I didn't grow up with that mindset that I was going to do things alone. But now
Right.
get me past 50 and I started doing a lot of things alone. I went to China the first time by myself and traveled all over the place, putting together a film festival. And so I started doing a lot more, but I was in my 50s when I did that.
And would you do that now?
Yeah, yeah. I'm much more comfortable doing those kind of things. They're not as much fun.
No, it's more fun to go with someone and do things together, but if
Yeah,
you have to do it by yourself, why
yeah,
not? Have
yeah.
you,
I mean, I'd
a lot
much
of people
rather.
never flew in the airplane by themselves or rented a car by themselves or done stuff like that. Especially our generation, I think we're just
Right.
attuned to being with a significant other.
Both of my older granddaughters have traveled to Europe by themselves.
Yeah, my son has gone all over South America
Yeah.
and he met great friends that way.
Do you think there's a difference between men and women in terms of the fear of doing things alone?
Probably, I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I would venture to say that more women are nervous traveling alone because we are prey
Mhm.
and there's
Well, if you're in the
few
group chat,
predators out there.
I would love to know if in the group chat. That's a good question. Do you think men or women are more fearful of traveling by themselves?
Yeah, that would
We
be
have
a
Mrs.
great question.
Elf weighing in on that question.
Yeah, Mrs. L, we'd love to hear what you say about that.
What about
Women, for sure.
fear of change and uncertainty?
That's another big one, isn't it?
Yeah,
And yet that one kind of cracks me up because I mean the whole meaning of the word life is change.
right.
I mean, everything is changing. We have change of seasons, our climate is changing, earth is changing, our bodies are changing, relationships change, everything changes. And yet when we have an opinion about it, it's like having an opinion about the weather. What can you do about it?
Hmm. You can't do anything, just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Right? And realize it's temporary and it will change.
That's true.
Everything is
But I
temporary.
think people are generally scared, um, and people don't like change because it is something, it's not comfortable.
Right. No, it's definitely not comfortable. Although I I tend to enjoy change. And I think my daughter does too.
Mhm.
She loves to change her furniture around. She likes to, she's always kind of mix it, wants to paint a wall different. So she invokes change that way. So I
Mhm.
think we all kind of have our different ways in which we like to create change to make us feel alive and fresh and new and to see things with a different perspective.
Well, I moved from Chicago to California.
Huge.
A huge change. And then I moved into an apartment complex where I moved 4 times within 2 years in that apartment complex.
Oh my God.
And then I moved to a different building and I moved twice in that building. And now my landlord is possibly raising my rent and I may be moving again. Change is good.
Well, it's a good thing you keep your life a little bit minimal in terms of what you have
Yeah,
to move.
I couldn't have a lot of stuff if I
No.
was going to be moving as much as I move. But that being said, still not fun. This one is interesting, and I think many people can relate to this, and I did certainly prior to the death of my husband, but a fear of death.
Hmm.
I would go to sleep sometimes, wake up in the middle of the night, and be like, I'm so scared. What happens after we die? And my husband then would say, when you're dead, you're dead. Like, no,
Lights out.
that's not a good answer.
I was as a child, I had horrible nightmares about my mom dying.
Right.
That scared me to death of losing her. Didn't worry about anybody else. Just
I,
her.
not your dad,
No,
not
no,
yourself.
no, just her. Yeah. Yeah, so that was probably a premonition it was going to happen young. But it is, I do know people that state they have had d after death experiences and came back and their stories are compelling in that it gives you comfort, to know
Total
that,
comfort. I think
that
what really helped me was many masters, many lives.
oh, that's my book. That's my
Yeah.
guy. Love him. Yep.
Yeah, that book is awesome, you guys. You can get on Amazon. Now I forgot his name, who wrote
Brian
it.
Weiss.
Yes,
And he
Dr.
has a whole series of books. When a friend of mine gave me that book, Many Lives, Many Masters,
I
amazing.
thought it was Many Masters, Many Lives. Who
No,
knows?
Many Lives, Many Masters. It changes your perspective. But then he has this whole series, uh, something about messages from the masters.
Right. So for those of you who haven't read the book and want a quick little cliff notes, apparently he was a psychiatrist who did not believe in any of this, thought it was all mumbo jumbo until he found one person he did a hypnosis on her and found out that she had talked in a certain tongue that no one it has ever used in the last several, centuries. So obviously she had been somewhere before this. And his conclusion was after doing several of these like hypnotic experiences, is that the people that are able to talk about their past lives are able to tell us, what it's like and how they come back. Eh, Well, you tell me what you thought that book was about.
I mean, you're hitting it. I got to go do a seminar with him in
Oh,
Sacramento,
wow.
a whole day seminar. And so his story is really compelling. He's a very unassuming little nerdy guy. I
Mhm.
mean, you would, and he had never heard of past life anything. He was a scientist. He was a psychiatrist. He was a mostly about pharmaceuticals, right? He taught at Yale. He was just a very brainiac guy. And he had also learned as in his psychiatric practice to do hypnotherapy. That was kind of
Right.
new. And so they would, for people that wanted to quit smoking, they were using it for people with stress, all kinds of things. So he learned how to do hypnosis. And this one woman he'd been working with for a, quite a long time, she was a young woman. I'll think of her name in a second.
Well,
Um,
that's the experience I was just talking about.
Right. And and he nothing he did worked or talk therapy, drugs, meditation, I mean, all these things, nothing worked. And so he finally said after months and months, so he knew her very well. He
Mhm.
knew her speaking style. He had heard all of her experiences in her life. So he knew. So he said, I've just learned this hypnotherapy. Let me try this on you. And she agreed. And so the process was taking her back to when, because she had so many phobias that she
Mhm.
was basically paralyzed in her apartment,
Yeah.
couldn't do anything. And so they would work on one at a time. So he would say, take me back to the age you were. And so at one point he said, take me back to the point where this phobia became an issue. And her whole body changed. She slumped differently on the couch. Her facial expressions changed, and her voice was very different. She was speaking in a language he didn't know.
Right.
I mean, everything is like a shift. And it freaked him out. I mean, he did not know what to make of it. And his
Right.
wife, who is a social worker, I believe, or a psychologist, he asked her the next session, Come in with me. I'm recording these, but I need a witness." And so she came in and they witnessed her do this again and have another life experience, past life experience. And and then they started taking a lot of notes and they could verify that this person actually existed in the more
Right.
recent.
And that she died in a very like tragic way, like she was
Right,
in a fire or had drowned or something like that.
right. A
I found
child
the
drowning and
question I had is I don't remember how he was able to figure out that our souls go back into the general ether of
that
souls.
was through the masters. And that's why you have to read messages from the masters next.
Well, and then he said that you don't come back, you can choose the life that you're going to be going into, but you don't come back in a worse position than you were in this life, which made me feel better because I'm like, okay, I don't want to go find out that I was,
Mhm.
this that, horrible person in a prior life. I don't want to find out I was like a serial killer or something from back, what I'm talking about.
And he didn't tell anybody about this experience for 5 years. He was because he was so afraid he would be booted out of his college and he would lose his career. They would say he was crazy. And so eventually, about 5 years afterward, because all of her, Catherine was her name, all of her phobias one by one resolved. It just disappeared through these regressions. And so he was talking to one of his colleagues, and he mentioned just kind of in passing about anything funny happen if you hypnotize somebody. And the colleague kind of looked at him and went, "Yeah, what are you talking about?" And so they kind of hinted around, and basically all of the psychiatrists that were using hypnotherapy were having this happen, but nobody could talk about it
Mm,
until they started getting together and discovering that they were all having these experiences.
mm.
So, super healing. I mean, you think about it, you have to wonder. It made me wonder this. You know how you meet a stranger, total stranger, but you instantly have a feeling about them.
Yeah, like some
Either,
sort of a psychic connection.
yeah, like you really are connected to this person or you loathe this person.
Mhm.
There's something repellent about them or something that draws you in. Everybody else is kind of neutral, right?
Would you say when I met you, we were one or the other?
Oh, yeah, it was not repelling. No, it was like we've been sisters.
It is pretty remarkable how you and I have, over the last how many years we've known each other.
Well, since 2012.
When we just happened to be in the same bad experience.
Right.
And we
Right.
met and we found this kinship.
Yeah.
And we're both Libras.
Yeah, just a day, 2 days apart, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think if you find that there's some sort of connection, and it could be like some random person on a subway, it could be anybody.
right,
It doesn't have to be someone, that you're currently with even. It just, but the kind of person that you have this experience with, and then you can go back, you haven't talked to them in 10 years, you can pick up the phone and it's like you never left.
right. It's pretty fascinating. So Mrs. Elv says, personally, I've done a lot of solo travel. I've been to theater performances, to the movies, concerts, festivals, restaurants, cafes, other things too. But before that, she said that women have reasons to be afraid because of the patriarchy,
Hmm.
and especially in some places or at night, but many of us do it anyway.
Hmm.
Besides, this risk is everywhere.
Yeah,
That's
that's true. I mean,
yeah. I
could
think
happen.
you just have to be heads up, right? You can't
Eh,
be looking at your phone. You can't be walking at night with headphones on.
No.
There's just precautions that we need to
Even
take.
I don't even like to walk with headphones on in the daytime.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah. We were on UC Irvine campus one night. Mark and I were walking around. He was showing me his past, and there were all these girls walking around on campus with, their headphones on, and they've got these booths everywhere for emergency calls.
Oh, good.
But I'm thinking, you wouldn't hear anybody coming up on you.
No.
Seems smart.
All
Yeah.
right, back to okay.
Okay. That's what I'm afraid of. The
That,
dark.
number six, fear of loss. Loved ones, possessions, freedom, that kind of thing. I think that a
Loss,
lot of
yeah.
people are going through that, especially right now with the economic uncertainty,
Right.
that you can fear losing and justifiably so your whole savings, things like that.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's a pretty realistic fear. right? I mean, that's
Right.
a, a cautionary fear. I think there's a separation when fear is, because I think fear is necessary as a guide. You know, if we feel fear, we probably should listen to it, at least acknowledge it, pay attention to it.
Hmm.
Sometimes it's unjustified,
Hmm.
like my fear of going to a restaurant by myself or something like that. It's like, all right, I'm just, I can face that. There's no high risk for me doing that to my safety. But I think the reality is if your finances are tight and that's a realistic fear that hopefully you're using to motivate you to protect yourself
In
rather
any way you
than
can.
use to paralyze yourself.
Well, yeah. And fear of a loss of loved ones is another one.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I never feared losing my husband. He died tragically, for those of you who don't know that. But I never feared of losing him. And then it happened anyway, right?
Right.
So that kind of made me not fear death anymore, because I mean, it happened with him. He's okay, wherever he is. So it's got to be okay.
Yeah. Well,
I
and I think again, I've always asked the question back, like if I'm complaining about the weather, well, what can I do about it? Where's my power in that? And you know, maybe that there is some wisdom in that. I think it's the AA creed, to accept the things to change the things I can and accept the things
oh
I
yeah,
cannot change, right?
God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the
Yeah.
things I can, and the wisdom to know the
There
difference.
you go. That's it. I did the short version.
Short version is you got to know when you have any kind of control over something.
Right.
Um, Fear of the unknown.
That's a big one. People get, that I think that's what anxiety
Hmm.
is that you're projecting into the future and you get anxious about all the unknowns. My yoga teacher, Mukunda, had a great saying. He would say, there's the known, the unknown, and the unknowable.
Ooh.
That was my response too. It's like, oh, I needed to hear that because some things are just unknowable.
You can fear, you know, an illness.
Yeah,
It can happen to anyone tomorrow. But you can't walk around and fear that you're going to get cancer or you're going to, get hit by a bus.
right,
You just don't
right,
know.
right.
Fear of the unknown.
That's a big one.
Here's the one we talked about, sort of. Fear of social anxiety or social phobia. Social,
Ah,
yeah, it's funny because you see sometimes the most famous celebrities, they say they're introverts. So whatever, they can go and act and do and whatever. But when it's come to talking to someone that they don't know in a room, they're scared.
right, right. I think COVID gave everybody a little social anxiety,
Hmm.
don't you? I mean, because everybody was,
Students, kids that were in school that don't have other kids to talk to.
right. And I think people were more afraid of getting sick. And so that created a barrier to being social.
Hmm.
So I think those some of those fears are justified to a certain degree, but I think it's really when we talk about fear, it's it's same with anxiety or stress. Sometimes a little anxiety, a little stress, a little fear are motivational for us.
Hmm.
They're movement oriented, so they'll move you forward or hold you back and protect you.
Hmm.
It's when it becomes destabilizing and when you start to
It
obsess.
interferes with your life. I
Right.
know someone who gets really fearful when he gets invited to parties.
Mm,
He comes up with all the I don't feel good or whatever. When he goes in, he has a great time.
So
but
that
it's
would be the social anxiety.
anxiety. Here's another one, which I think I don't have this fear, but fear of heights,
Oh, that would be
flying
me.
or in enclosed spaces. Like, yeah, my dad was deathly afraid of heights. And also, I used to be scared of elevators though, because I had one time an elevator broke down and I was in France and it was a really tiny, thin, small elevator. And I was in there and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta break this door down.
Oh, did you start to get like hyperventilating and
Yeah.
yeah. Mm. Mrs. Elf says she's the introvert you're talking about, Karen.
Yeah. You don't seem that way, Mrs. Elf.
Sounds like she pushes herself
Yeah.
to do things.
You're traveling by yourself. That's, you're gonna bound to talk to people, I guess. Now, my boyfriend has no problem speaking to anyone, anytime. There's no social anxiety there whatsoever.
Right.
Sometimes I wish it was a little bit there because
A
can't walk
little
in,
reclusive.
I can't walk in a building without him talking to like every single person in the hallway, and the front desk, whatever. But it also makes it easier. Like I remember my husband had some social anxiety and he would say, I need to take you to like the funeral so you could talk to people. And he'd hide behind me. I had my value. I'm good with funerals. Now the next one is a fear of an economic collapse,
Mm,
corruption, war, or health crises, especially relevant in current events.
well, I mean, I can relate to that.
But you can't let it debilitate you. I
No.
find that, for example, when I start watching the news, I start getting very agitated and I have to consciously disconnect and not turn the TV on because it's just going to make me go down a rabbit hole of which I can't have any control over anyway.
Right, right,
And especially right before bed, I make sure not to turn the news on then.
right.
But they
Oh,
did say anything about spiders. Oh, here we
no
go.
spiders. Hmm?
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
Common phobias include social anxiety, we talked about fear of heights, spiders, snakes, and the other stuff. Yeah, I guess spiders and snakes. I'm not a big fan of that black widow.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of pretty.
But I was thinking about it that if someone had one and it was tamed and I could trust them, then I would pet the black widow.
We had a black widow nest out by our hot tub, and we
I
were
don't think I'd
out
like
there.
that.
We were out there, and this nest was probably about, like a baseball size. And we were sitting out there in the hot tub, and all of a sudden you see this little leg come out, another little leg come out.
You were okay with that? You weren't freaking out?
Well, yes, I was.
I would,
I was like,
I
ah,
don't think I could handle that.
it was so nauseating. It's like, oh my God, they're birthing.
So what happened?
Usually I get kind
How
of
do you get rid
excited
of
about birth.
Are you allowed to like call Orkin or some pest control?
Oh yeah. We took care of it, but I mean, you feel bad. I mean, I feel bad killing anything. I felt terrible the other day. We had to move a wasp nest. I, was- I feel bad.
Well, you wouldn't. I used to be scared. I walked by. I was at an amusement park. I walked by it and I swept my hand, swung and hit like over a garbage can, and I guess a bee stung me right in my palm of my hand. It was burned.
Oh yeah, that's no
Yeah.
fun. So Mrs. Cheryl's here. Hi, Cheryl.
Yeah.
She says, Fear can be debilitating at times, that's for sure." And Mrs. Elv said, "Yes, because I'm writing. Writing is different for us introverts than talking." Laugh out loud.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But yeah, I do encourage myself to do what's the best of me. True. Yeah. And live your best life, right? And I think we do feel a little more alive when we're pushing our own boundaries and testing ourselves and to do different things and move through our fears. face your fears.
Yeah, if you're watching this later on and not live with us, um, put in the comments what your fears are and how you have overcome them. I would like to see what those are. I will check them out. We'll read all the comments.
And if you've had fears in the past and you still have them, what is carried over for you that you haven't been able to resolve or face, or I'm always curious, like, what are the lingering fears people have? I mean, height for me, I had, as a kid, I had a constant dream of that I was walking along a cliff, and it became the mountain came out so far, and I couldn't continue to walk, and so I fell off the cliff. And as I was falling, I would say, "Oh well, it's just a dream." In
Yeah,
a dream.
you didn't die during the dream.
No. But I had that sense of falling. Whew, I do not like that.
I had a similar experience, I think when I was learning to drive, or maybe shortly thereafter. I was fearful that it would be my dream that I'd wake up, or I wouldn't wake up, and I was pressing the pedal to the gas, and it wouldn't let me put the brakes on. Just kept
Oh.
gas, just going straight like in speed in that bus.
So, um, Cheryl says, I have a friend who is afraid of losing weight.
Really?
Mhm. A lot of women and men who gain a lot of weight, oftentimes do it as a protection.
So the fear would be if you gained weight or lost weight.
The fear if they lost weight that they would be more vulnerable,
I thought she said she had a fear of gaining weight.
losing weight,
Losing weight,
afraid of losing
a
weight.
fear of losing it. Well, I mean,
Yes. Yeah. But
uh,
a lot of women who suddenly put on a lot of weight at some point in their life, if it's not metabolic,
mhm.
oftentimes it's because of past sexual assault or
Yeah,
abuse.
yeah.
And it's a protection. They think that nobody will want to be with them. They assume that, right? It'll ward off the creeps.
Cheryl, is that ring true to whoever you're talking about losing weight? Do you wonder why she or has a fear of losing weight?
I think, you know, we talked about child sexual assault in our first show, and I think that's a topic that we probably should talk about a little more openly, about the signs of somebody being assaulted, somebody having been assaulted, so that we can grow our compassion muscles for people that are struggling to lose weight or struggling with their weight. Yes, Cheryl said she was abused. So, when oftentimes when a teenager or a young girl changes suddenly, personality change, energy change, weight change.
Like Gianna.
Yeah, yeah, that's a sign that something's not going right in their lives.
Something is not right.
Yeah.
Um, what other fears does anybody have?
So Cheryl, is there any more fears? Hi, Michael. So we're talking about fears today, fears of whatever. Like, do you have fears that you've overcome? If you have, we'd love to know how. And I think it's this whole show is about sharing. Primarily women sharing for women and supporting women, and men supporting women. I think that's fabulous. But women are under more attack in this world, have been more vulnerable. And so I think both Karen and I agree that we've wanted to create a platform for women to feel heard, seen, known, and appreciated. And so we have created this. Mrs. Elv says, when we do something for the first time, references are created in our mind, and then it's much easier to do it again. Something that was super scary before, it could become just normal after doing it once.
That's a
Definitely.
very good point.
Mhm.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, once you try it once, it's not so difficult.
Right. I mean,
Like
that I certainly
diving
had.
into a swimming pool, same thing. You might be fearful, and then you finally do, it, and you're like, "Wait, that wasn't so bad. I'll do that again."
I certainly had that experience with public speaking, because I took a public speaking class in high school, and I had to drop it because I had such severe anxiety.
Uh,
I stood up there one time.
what really
My
helps,
heart was beating so hard. I thought my chest was going to explode.
I think what really helps with that is joining, especially if you're in school, or whatever, and they have acting programs
Mhm.
or speech programs, debate. I think
Yes,
all three of my kids were involved in some sort of theater, and I think the theater enables you to get out of yourself and be, whatever character you're playing, and it
agreed.
also gets you comfortable in front of an audience.
Right,
Back to
right.
my husband, he was so scared to talk in front of anyone, and he was in construction, and he had to speak in front of the village board about, why he should put up the project or whatever. And he was so scared to talk in front of this group of people that we
Mhm.
had like 5 dry runs. before I mean, but the best laid plans, even if you do a ton of practice, it still can, be quite terrifying.
Yes, yes. Knowing your subject helps. If you know what you're talking about, then you're much more confident in at least the subject. But, sometimes just staring people down and seeing all these people looking at you, waiting for your word.
Remember, they're in their underwear.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're coming up on our hour. So we would love to interview more people. So we need to have you contact us. If you go to Not Dead Yet Live show, if you, we'll put a link in this on the YouTube channel to go to my website, and you can apply to be a guest, and I will do a quick little Zoom 30-minute interview with you, or Karen will. We'll trade off and we'll check in and see what it is the story that you'd like to share. We do need to talk to people beforehand because we want to make sure that the story and the direction the story goes fits with the platform that we're putting together. So
Sure. So
most of
it's
the time it's a
not
pretty
dead
good match.
yet liveshow.com.
Yes, yes.
Make sure to add the .com on there.
Dot count. The dot count.
But you should be able to find us on most social media platforms. It's not dead yet live show.
Right. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I don't know, we didn't make a TikTok one yet.
I don't think so
Yeah.
yet.
And wise women, certainly we welcome the stories. We also welcome wise young women, or scared young women, or adventurous middle-aged women. It doesn't matter. We started off our show with two women of very different backgrounds, very different stories,
In
and
different
that's
ages.
what makes the show really yummy and surprising. So,
Right.
Mrs. Elv, you're next.
Yeah. And share this, if you can share this wherever you're watching this, share this with a friend
Yeah.
so that they can come and join us too. We'd like a bigger audience, obviously.
Well, and Karen and I are doing this out of love and passion, and
For all the big bucks we're raking in.
right. It's not about economics. It's about it's really a passion project for both of us. So we hope people will take advantage of it and get those stories out there. We want to create a community of people that support women. Women need that right now. There's a lot of women in this country, around the world, who are scared. And of course, Australia is kicking ass. Did you hear? I mean, they voted in. It was a landslide. They are powerful with getting in getting the conservative right-wing nonsense out and really leading with compassion, empathy, equality, dignity, and
So we just got to
diversity.
move to Australia now. That's a change. I'm a little fearful of it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we're going to Australia.
Anyway, we love you guys.
All right. So
See you
remember,
next
not dead
Tuesday.
yet live. Thanks for coming into the chat. We really appreciate that.
Please
We're,
put your name and where you're from and just say hello so we
yes.
know who's out there watching this, even if
And
it's
yeah, if you're
after
watching
midnight.
this later, please leave us messages so that we know that you were here and give us your thoughts, your ideas. We're open. Love you,
Bye.
Karen. Thank
Love you
you.
too.
I like that we color coordinated today.
Oh, we did.
Yes. And get the book, Many Lives, Many Masters,
I
and also Messages from the Masters. Two
yes,
amazing, life-changing books.
I agree.
We could have a book club too.
Yeah,
All right. Have a good night. All
you
right.
too.
Bye, everybody.